views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
What if your biggest dreams were already assured as they've been written in the stars? Want a boost to raise your vibration to 5D and higher? Soul Wisdom Radio with Wendy Rose Williams helps you access the wisdom of your higher self and guides to balance your ego, progress spiritually, and discover your life purpose and larger soul mission. Wendy is a Seattle area past life regressionist, certified spiritual teacher, Reiki Master Energy Healer, and award-winning author. Plan your magic carpet ride now with Soul Wisdom Radio with Wendy Rose Williams.
Good morning. I'm Wendy Rose Williams, and you're listening to Soul Wisdom Radio on TransformationTalkRadio.com and to our debut on Facebook Live. Join us for the next hour as we welcome in an amazing Master Number 11 year. 2018 reduces numerologically to the number 11. And as we help you tune into the deep wisdom of your own soul or higher self to live a more joyful life. Mahatma Gandhi said, "The greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way its animals are treated." Today's topic is the deep bond many of us have with our animal companions. I'm excited to announce Jenny Nordine from Doggone Seattle is my guest today. Jenny is in studio with me at KKNW 1150 AM in Seattle, along with Benny Mathers, our wonderful producer. If you have access to the internet now, you can navigate to www.facebook.com/transformationtalkradio.com to be able to see many of the Doggone Seattle dogs. That link again, www.facebook.com/transformationtalkradio.com. Jenny's the founder of Doggone Seattle, a Washington state-based 501c3 nonprofit organization. Doggone Seattle is dedicated to saving dogs in high-kill shelters through rescue, foster, and adoption. 3 quick announcements before we dive in with Jenny. I'm excited to share with listeners I'm one of the first Seattle Airbnb experience hosts. I facilitate experiential past life regression workshops, which include 3 guided meditations to meet your guide, travel to a healing temple, and several short past life regressions. Visit my website at wendyrosewilliams.com to sign up for these Seattle area workshops. The next 4 workshops will be held this Friday night, January 5th, at 6:30 p.m. at the Linwood Public Utility District Building. Saturday, January 13th at 1:30 at the Downtown Kirkland Library. Saturday, February 3rd at noon at the Den Coffee House in Bothell. And Sunday, February 11th at 1:30 p.m. back at the Kirkland Library. Workshop participants will receive an autographed copy of my first book, Regression Healing 1, The Huntsman, The Lord High Mayor, and the World War II Soldier, available on Amazon. Regression Healing 1 is a moving example of a comprehensive past life regression healing with a lesson of forgiveness for both the client and for me. Simon, the client, was able to release significant physical and emotional pain by returning to the lifetime of origin and mastering the lesson. Emotions are timeless and often become stuck in our energy field. My clients are so happy to release these blockages and stuck energy. They're able to move forward in positive ways when they release anxiety, depression, PTSD, physical or emotional pain, reframe trauma, and complete challenging life lessons like gratitude or forgiveness. Contact me at 425-502-0362 or via email at wendyrwilliams@hotmail.com to schedule your complimentary 15-minute phone appointment to learn more. Second way to get involved is via my free monthly full and new moon remote meditations. We meditate together from the comfort of our own homes and share the experience on the Facebook event page. January 16th is the next new moon meditation, and January 31st will be the second full moon of the month, as we also had one yesterday. The theme for the 3 January meditations is human dignity and physical and financial freedom, specifically to end sex trafficking and slavery. Visit transformationtalkradio.com events tab to learn more about these workshops and meditations. I'm honored to have been selected as a speaker for the 26th Annual Women of Wisdom Conference, February 17th and 18th at the North Seattle Community College. I'll be facilitating Who Do You Think You Are? An experiential past life regression workshop Sunday, February 18th from 2:30 to 5:30. Visit womenofwisdom.org today for more information and to sign up for this popular conference as space is limited. Join me again on Soul Wisdom Radio February 6th at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, when Chris Steins, the creator of the popular Women of Wisdom Conference, will be my guest. It's my privilege now to introduce Jenny Nordine from Doggone Seattle. I met Jenny a year ago at Thanksgiving when I offered to help with Berlin, a smart, beautiful 4-year-old German Shepherd mix. Berlin was in a high-kill shelter in California through no fault of her own. She'd also recently had puppies. It didn't take me long to recognize Berlin was my own war dog from when I was an American soldier in Berlin during World War II. I remember Berlin, now renamed Indy, saving my life as well as the lives of other soldiers and civilians during the war. She dragged my unconscious body out of a building that was on fire from being bombed. What the animals give to us and teach us is simply incredible. In my experience, our animals choose us. Many of them incarnate with us more than once, like my cat Midnight, and we often enter into soul contracts or agreements together before we incarnate in order for our souls to progress. Jenny recommended A Dog's Purpose by W. Bruce Cameron to me. It's a heartwarming read that you listeners may enjoy that illustrates some of the basic reincarnation principles and how we progress spiritually in tandem with our animal companions. Jenny Nordine earned her master's degree in communication and digital media from the University of Washington and her bachelor's degrees in biology and political science from Duke University. She grew up surrounded by animals: hamsters, geckos, rats, cockatoos, cats, and plenty of dogs. Jenny spent her adolescence volunteering in wildlife rehabilitation, which helps tremendously in working with shelter dogs with unknown histories. She strives to approach each animal with respect for its individual needs. Doggone Seattle believes every dog deserves a chance at a forever home and makes an incredible difference in the lives of these deserving animals, one dog at a time. Jenny adopted her first rescue dog from a high-kill shelter in Durham, North Carolina, while in college, and her second from a private shelter in Seattle after graduation. Her personal experiences in rescuing shaped her views about rescue organizations and adoption processes. Always passionate about animal rights, she followed advocacy groups for years, but didn't feel she could stomach the heartache of working for the plight of millions of dogs that had so little hope. But after 9 years in marketing and business development, Jenny felt she needed to do more. She offered to create a website for a local dog rescue. While the rescue needed help, she quickly saw the dogs more urgently needed her help. Jenny began first fostering and then recruiting fosters, and soon after managing dozens of dogs from rescue through adoption. She jumped into the deep end of rescue and hasn't looked back. Jenny founded Doggone Seattle a year ago. She has a passion for helping the large breed dogs, as do I, the ones that are commonly overlooked or misunderstood. These include pit bulls, shepherds, black dogs, and mutts. Jenny has immersed herself in the world of dog rescue and strives to take in everything related to training and rehabilitation, veterinary medicine, nutrition, and more. This leads her to take on some of the toughest medical and behavioral cases. Jenny considers every special needs dog a learning opportunity that can help better the rescue. She lives the motto, rescue, respect, repeat, understanding that easily adoptable dogs keep the rescue afloat, but each dog requires its own rescue approach with respect to allow the organization to repeat the mission. Welcome, Jenny, to Soul Wisdom Radio.
Hi, Wendy. Thank you for having me today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Congratulations on Doggone Seattle's first anniversary. Am I correct that in your first year in operation, Doggone Seattle rescued over 435 dogs and placed more than 375 into their forever homes?
Yeah, that sounds right. I think we've found homes for about 400 dogs in 2017.
Oh, that's amazing. And how was this accomplished? What's some of the nitty-gritty?
Like you said, one dog at a time. We have a wonderful team of people that live in the Seattle area that help us by taking dogs into their own personal homes for the average time of about 2 to 3 weeks. And they are a huge part of what allows us to complete this mission. So, it's just the collective positive energy and good work from a wonderful team of people.
Oh, fantastic. Well, you're a wonderful leader for it, as well as your husband, so we very much appreciate it. Congratulations also on attaining your 501c3 status. My understanding it's difficult for dog rescues to become a 501c3. What are the implications for donors, tax-wise or in any other way, and for Doggone Seattle to be able to save more dogs? What has that done for you?
So I don't know if it's more difficult for a dog rescue, but I think just getting the 501c3 status, there's just so much red tape, and it can be difficult for just your average person to do, and it's expensive if you have to hire somebody to help you with that. So it can be a challenge. But for our rescue organization, it means that we are able to pull dogs out of high-kill shelters that are at risk for euthanasia, that are out of state. So, for example, if there's a dog in a shelter in California that's scheduled to be put to sleep, if you're a 501c3, they have to give you that dog at no cost, essentially, as is, without vetting or whatever. But they have to give you that dog rather than kill it. So it gives you a lot of options in terms of which dogs that you can help.
That's a really big deal then.
It's huge. It's huge because, it's actually a law in it's a federal law. So the other big benefit, of course, is that for donors, private or companies, their donations to a 501c3 organization are tax deductible. So especially corporations, but many individuals too are looking to donate to organizations that have that status, so that there's some financial benefit for them as well.
Fantastic. Well, we're going to break, but first let's share our contact information. You're listening to Soul Wisdom Radio with Wendy Rose Williams and my guest, Jenny Nordine. What's the best way for people to reach you, Jenny, in addition to your website? Is that the best way? What is that website address?
The website is doggoneseattle.org, DOGGONE, Seattle.org. And there's a contact form on there, or you can reach me directly at Jenny, Jenny, at doggoneseattle.org.
Perfect. Well, stay tuned, and we'll be right back to continue the conversation.
Where is my dog when he's gone? He's doggone, gone, doggone. When he gets back to our cozy little shack, it's doggy, where you've been so long. Is he gambling all his kibble?
Tune in to The Truth is Funny with Colette Steffen each Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This hit show will have you thinking outside the box and riding the wave of infinite potential. Join Colette on the Higher Self Network, inspiring listeners to shine their brilliance and ensure success while roaring with laughter as they recognize the humor of the giant cosmic joke. Visit TheTruthIsFunny.com.
Integrate spirituality into your everyday lives on Universe Soul Heart Radio. Tune in each month on Transformation Talk Radio as Kathleen Johnson explores the concept of sensible spirituality, keeping you grounded, connected, and centered on the path to wholeness. Kathleen has dedicated her life to facilitating holistic healing and wholeness in others. Listen to Universe Soul Heart Radio and learn how to flourish, grow, and impact all we do on planet Earth. For more information, go to universesoulheart.net.
Now you can be a part of one of the most powerful programs to help create a more joyful, loving, abundant, and peaceful world. Every day at 12 noon in any time zone, join millions of other people around the world to spend a few minutes in joy, love, and gratitude. Brought to you by Robert Schoenfeld, host of the Art of Powerful Living Radio. Together, we can raise the vibration of the planet. For more information, visit globalmomentofjoy.com.
What is a brilliant culture, and how do we create them? Why are they important? Claudette Rowley has created a breakthrough 5-step process to help you align your culture with your business strategy for exceptional results. Looking for a culture that drives organizational excellence? Listen to Cultural Brilliance Radio, the second and fourth Friday of each month at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern on Transformation Talk Radio. To learn more or work with Claudette, visit culturalbrilliance.com.
Hey, did you know why they call the foundation the foundation? It's called the foundation because it completely eliminates your foundation for what you thought your reality was and creates a whole new space where you can have an entirely new reality that is foundationless. So from my point of view, they should call it the unfoundation or the foundationlessness. Either way, there's a big new global rewrite happening again because these guys cannot stop changing. There should be like a Change Anonymous that Gary and Dane go to. And it's happening April 28th to May 1st. You can find out about it at accessconsciousness.com/global foundation. It's happening in Paris. Go to Paris or do it online or find a pod near you. These are all the options you have. And what else is possible?
He's doggone, gone, doggone. When he gets back to our cozy little shack, it's doggy where you've been so long.
We're back on Soul Wisdom Radio with Wendy Rose Williams and my guest, Jenny Nordine from dogonseattle.org. Thank you for joining us today. If you're just tuning in now and have access to the internet, you can zip over to www.facebook.com/transformationtalkradio.com to see this program as a Facebook Live event to get a much richer feel for what Doggone Seattle is all about. That link again, www.facebook.com/transformationtalkradio.com. So, Jenny, thanks for recapping the importance of that 501c3 and how that really plays out in you being able to save dogs from out of state. That's a very big deal. Why is it so important to rescue dogs from our own shelter system in the U.S.? I was shocked the first time I heard the term death row applied to a shelter, and horrified to learn that many dogs only have a few days to live once they're in a high-kill shelter. Is it true that very few make it out alive due to overpopulation, and how few resources that go into finding homes for these dogs, most of whom have great temperaments and may also be healthy, young, and quite adoptable? What is going on with that?
You packed in a lot of questions there. So, there's no one answer to this. We definitely have a problem in our nation. Some shelters obviously are better than others. The public government shelters are often underfunded and understaffed, and they're open intake, meaning they have to take in whichever dogs come to them, either through strays or owner surrenders or neglect situations, and they may have only X number of kennel spaces, and they do the best they can to house the dogs there. But if they only have X number of kennel spaces and they have a certain number of dogs come in and that exceeds the space they have, then if they're not leaving through adoptions or through rescues, then they're not making it out. So that's just the reality in our country right now. There's a lot of things that can be done to work to improve that, which I hope, touch on later. But it's more than just the public shelters. Also, there's private shelters. There's rescue organizations. But the overarching theme, I guess, is that there are millions of dogs every year that are killed. And these are adoptable dogs. I don't even think that the Humane Society includes in their statistic of, I think they say it's about 2.8 million dogs a year. They don't even include in that statistic dogs that may have severe medical problems or that they deem not adoptable due to behavior considerations. So it's a big problem, and it's nationwide.
It really is. So that regardless of what the number is, we know it's in the millions. It doesn't matter if it's 2.3 million or 2.7 million.
Right.
We know it's in the million, and this is just in the U.S.
Right.
So this is a very big deal. Many of our quote shelters, we know they're not shelters at all. They really are death camps. And today's conversation is about changing that reality. What are some of the common misconceptions why dogs end up in a high kill shelter, and what's more the reality?
I think that people think about dogs in the shelter and think that they're broken or that they have all of these issues or there must be something wrong with them or some reason why they're there that's their problem. Like, and especially good dog people, they can't really imagine, how someone could give up their dog unless, the dog had, killed a puppy or something, that just, it depends. Sorry. But the reality of the situation is that the vast majority of these dogs are really, really wonderful dogs, and they just need a little bit of time in a stable environment to feel safe for you to see what beautiful, wonderful dogs they are. I mean, I think personally for the hundreds of dogs that I've fostered directly from the shelters, and I do take a lot that other people won't take, maybe had only one or two that I was like, ugh, this dog's going to be a really big challenge. So
right.
I mean, the vast majority of them are just absolutely wonderful dogs.
So they decompress in the foster homes, and that's what's important is that they're going to a foster home first.
Well, yeah, that's a huge benefit. But if you were just a private individual looking to adopt a dog, I would always advocate going to a shelter. It's not as difficult as you might think. The dogs that are in the shelters, I guess the main point is it's not because there's some inherently bad dog. Most likely, reasons that dogs are given up. I mean, people don't have the money to pay for food or to pay for vet care. People may be moving houses to a building that doesn't allow dogs. There may be a divorce. There may be a new baby. There may be any number of reasons that would cause someone to give up their dog that maybe you cannot personally relate to, but it happens. And so rather than sit here and judge that, like, let's help these animals that need help.
Right, and deal with the reality of what can be a very difficult situation and decision for that person.
Right.
And they just haven't realized to get the dog to a no-kill shelter or to a rescue, or there may not be one available in their area.
That's true, too. And then the whole concept of a no-kill shelter is really kind of a misnomer. I mean, we should not judge shelters that are labeled, quote, kill shelters, because it's not really their decision. There are things that they can do to try to get more dogs out. But if you're an open intake public government shelter, it's just a matter of the numbers, and they can work as hard as they can to get the dogs out or transferred to other rescues. But for example, like Seattle Humane, which is a private shelter, they are not open intake. So they get to decide which dogs they take in and which dogs they do not take in. So if you have a dog in front of you that's very sick or has behavioral issues, they're probably not going to decide to take that dog because they don't know if they can necessarily place that dog, which of course is a benefit to them, meaning they won't have to kill that dog. And then they're a no-kill shelter, and then they get more public support, whereas some shelters perhaps that are open intake that have to take those dogs actually need more public support. And we as the public are judging those shelters saying, oh, well, they're a kill shelter. And it's like, it's kind of important to take a step back and look at what the reality is,
That's one of the biggest lessons that I've been learning in life the last few years through my clients and through my own healing work is don't judge. Just it is what it is, and just try and work with whatever the situation is in the most positive way you can.
Yeah. It's really hard to do in rescue, and I struggle with that every day, but it's definitely something that I agree is super important. I mean, when I get emails and calls from owners that want me to take their dog because their dog's 9 years old and they have a kid, sometimes I have to put the phone on mute and just scream. But it can be hard. But we're doing what we can. So
it's very hard because you're on the front lines, and that's not a place that people can always be. So my hat's off to you. On a lighter note, How did you select the name Doggone Seattle for the rescue? Wasn't there a different focus for it originally from a project you did in grad school?
Yes. So I'll try and keep this. I'll keep it short. But we had one of our final assignments in the master's program was to create a community around something. And I mean, that's very broad. But of course, my mind immediately went to dogs. And I said to the director of the program, I said, I think my website's going to be whyadopt.com. And it's going to be all about the reasons why you should adopt a dog instead of buying one. And he's like, yeah, I don't know. That's pretty bleak. I'm not sure that's going to be a great community building topic. So you should probably come up with something else. And I'm like, okay. So I'm sitting in what was formerly, I think it was called Forza Coffee Shop. It's now Fix or something else in Green Lake, a dog-friendly coffee shop down in Green Lake. And I've got my dog Bondi with me, and I'm on my laptop, and someone came up and they're like, oh, I didn't know you could have dogs in here, because, you know, it's a little bit of a gray area with the health department. There's a lot of dog-friendly places, but places don't necessarily advertise it because, you know, it's kind of like the whole, you know, we won't say anything if you don't say anything kind of thing. And I was like, yeah, absolutely, this place, and, you know, this place down the street, and this other bar, and this restaurant. And I'm like, wow, because I'd in my head been collecting all these places that I could bring my dog to.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, well, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be the dog-friendly places in Seattle. It's going to be a website, and people can share, you know, their own experiences and their own places. And so that's what I did. And I don't remember how I specifically came up with Doggone Seattle, but it ended up being really popular because, you know, Seattle's awesome dog people, and everyone loves to bring their dogs places. And people were sharing, you know, new places all over the neighborhoods, and we got a map set up. And so it was really awesome. But then, you know, when I built this whole community, and by the time I was doing rescue more and more, I'm like, well, I'm not going to I don't have time to do any of that anymore. But so, hey, community, this is now going to be about dog rescue. Like, thanks for your support. I hope you stick around. But if not, like, it's been great. And
that's okay.
That's how it happened. So
things naturally evolve, and
exactly.
That's great. That did hit the community.
Well, it was awesome because I had like a nice launch point. I already had, you know, a Facebook page with followers. It was what's serendipitous.
That's perfect. And related to that, Jenny, what are some of the ways you've worked to make workplaces more dog friendly? And what are some of the local Seattle businesses that allow well-behaved dogs in the workplace?
Oh, wow. So more and more, actually, I'm hearing lately, I don't know that I would say I've worked to make workplaces more friendly, but when I was working in marketing and business development at Epic Design, which is actually my family's business, I said, okay, I'll come work for you guys, but I want to bring my dog to work, and he'll be good, and he can hang out under my desk. And so that was, you know, they were like, okay, that's fine. I think that's doable, because I was going to be commuting, and I was going to be gone for 9.5 hours a day, and I didn't want to leave my dog at home all day long. So Bondi was the first dog that went to Epic. Now I think they have more dogs in the office there than people, and it's kind of one of the interview questions that gets asked there, like, well, you know, are you comfortable around dogs? Because we've got a Rottweiler, a Pit Bull, a Newfoundland, a this or that. And so, you know, but it also attracts people, you know, that would maybe otherwise not consider that job because they've got a dog and they want to bring their dog to work. So I think that's great.
Became part of the corporate culture.
Yep.
There you go.
And the big joke at Amazon, of course, is they let you bring their dogs to work because you're going to be there, you know, 11 hours a day. So you don't have to go home.
There you go. Well, we're going to take a short break in a moment. But first, let's recap our contact information. Jenny, what's the best way for listeners to reach you to learn more about Doggone Seattle?
You can find Doggone Seattle on Facebook at facebook.com/Doggone Seattle or online at www.doggoneseattle.org.
Perfect. And Soul Wisdom Radio listeners are invited to request a free 15-minute phone consult with me via my website at wendyrosewilliams.com.
Got a friend in me. You got a friend in me.
Stay juicy. Tune in to Your Juicy Love with me, Una Drake, co-hosting monthly with Dr. Pat, and every second Monday at 12 p.m. on Transformation Talk Radio. My show, Your Juicy Love, helps you find the dynamic, life-affirming love you've always wanted. Transform your relationships and bring peace, joy, and juicy, juicy love to planet Earth. For more information, visit unadrake.com.
Choose the new earth on the Cornelia Stephanie Show. Tune in each week on Transformation Talk Radio as Cornelia takes listeners on an odyssey of higher consciousness to inspire, educate, and empower. Cornelia guides people on the path of self-healing, peace, and liberation. The Cornelia Stephanie Show is your catalyst for anchoring heaven on earth on a global scale. For more information, go to corneliastephanie.com.
Did you know that all of the shows on the Transformation Radio Network are available as podcasts to stream or download?
Really?
Check us out. Go to transformationradio.fm. We have business shows, spiritual shows, energy healing shows, and pretty much everything in between. Something for everyone, guaranteed to inspire, educate, and transform. We are transforming the world, one listener at a time.
Tune in to the Psychic Professors Show, The Voices of Spirit Radio, with international medium and spirit artist Dr. Susan Barnes on Transformation Talk Radio, featuring a variety of spiritual topics such as psychic art, spiritualism, EVP, psychic development, and mediumship. This hit call-in show provides listeners with breakthrough wisdom to enliven and enlighten their lives. Visit spiritartgallery.net.
Tune in each Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on Transformation Talk Radio.
Tune into the wisdom of your soul for guidance on living a joyful life. On Soul Wisdom Radio, Wendy will provide inspiration to raise your vibration and connect with your higher self and guides. Learn how to balance your ego and to progress spiritually on Soul Wisdom Radio with Wendy Rose Williams. Visit wendyrosewilliams.com or Transformation Talk Radio to learn more about a healing session with Wendy and her events and publications.
You got a friend in me. When the road looks rough ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed, you just remember what your old pal said. Boy, you got a friend.
Welcome back to Soul Wisdom Radio with Wendy Rose Williams and Jenny Nordine from dogoneseattle.org. Jenny, I know you put a lot of thought, hard work, and creativity into your founding principles of rescue, respect, and repeat, like you put into everything you do. What does rescue, respect, and repeat really look like at Doggone Seattle? Can we take those three founding principles one at a time? Where do you rescue from primarily, and where are the dogs placed?
So the rescue piece of it, I guess, is what our main mission is to get these dogs out of situations where they're at risk for being killed, essentially helping homeless dogs. So we help a lot of dogs from Southern California, specifically the San Bernardino area, the Devore and San Bernardino city shelters. I also work with other high-kill shelters in California. I'd say about 60% of our dogs come from that area. We also take dogs from rural shelters in Texas. Texas is the worst state in the nation in terms of euthanasia. However, it's a little bit of a more challenge transport-wise. There's a lot of heartworm there, so there's some things that make it a little bit more challenging to help the dogs from Texas. But we do take about 30% of the dogs in our rescue from Texas, and I'd say the other 10% of dogs either come from local families in need or local organizations, other rescue organizations locally that are having challenges with the dogs, either behavioral or medical, where we can step in and maybe because we're foster-based or because we have specific knowledge in that area are able to help. So those dogs, are obviously going to take a little bit more time in the rescue.
Excellent. And what does respect look like at Doggone Seattle?
So for respect, for me, that is referring to how we treat each dog that comes into the rescue. I think every dog is different, and it's important to just not take one blanket approach and expect it to work for every dog. We, as much as possible, we try to match the dogs that are coming out of the shelter environment with fosters that are going to be able to help that dog. If the dog has medical issues, we've got people who are able to help with that. Nutritional counseling. One of our board members, Ashlyn, is regional manager for All the Best Pet Care, and she's absolutely a wizard when it comes to dealing with some of the special needs, allergies, and skin conditions, and that sort of thing. Or if it's or if it's like a behavioral challenge, we've got trainers that we work with. Jeffrey Denny of Seattle Canine Command, Tracy Zitnick of Leg Up Dog Training that can help these dogs that literally would otherwise be euthanized, that have these severe behavioral problems, that really, if you can just take a different kind of approach with them, you can see remarkable change and see these dogs that are now feeling, good in their own bodies and can be safe and happy and lead normal lives. So basically, we just look at the dog in front of us and try and respect whatever that dog's needs are and work with what resources we have to help that dog get ready for adoption.
Fantastic. And how does repeat come into play?
Well, we couldn't do any of this without the help of all of our fosters and volunteers, and also all of the stakeholders, some of which I've mentioned before, people that are involved, people that are donating. So all of the people, in this community, because it really is a community, are allowing us to repeat our mission, and it's one dog at a time. And, each dog that we can place is another open spot for a dog that we can save from the shelter. So, many of the dogs that we get in are really easy, dogs that don't have medical issues, that don't have behavioral needs. And then, those dogs allow us to also help other dogs that maybe take a little bit more time or have more needs. So it's all a balancing act, and finding that balance, it is what allows us to repeat our mission.
Okay. And can you educate all of us as to what the term adopt, don't shop really means? I know there's a lot of implications to that.
Sure. Well, I think that's a popular slogan to just kind of understand the rescue mission. So shopping for a dog, I think a lot of people will go online, look for a specific breed, purchase a dog, not knowing that this dog is 99% most likely coming from a puppy mill, or at least the mom is in bad situations or in bad health and not taken care of, not a family pet. Pretty much if you're buying a dog from the internet and you're not seeing the breeding parents, you are supporting a puppy mill. And I think a lot of people don't even realize that. So I try to, not judge that. But that would be shopping for dog, buying dogs from pet stores. Same thing. Pet stores source their dogs from puppy mills. We don't have a lot of that in Washington State because there is a high awareness of the problem here. So people are, have literally, with their buying power, shut down pet stores that sell puppies, which is great. And now you're even seeing like PetSmart and Petco and the big chains supporting rescues that come in, bring adoption events and that sort of thing, which is great. Also, I would say Craigslist, backyard breeders, what used to be like the 5-nickel paper, whatever, is now what you see on Craigslist. People will often say, oh, our wonderful golden retriever accidentally had a litter of puppies and we just need to find them good homes, $400 each. And you feel like you're helping them out because what are they going to do? But like they would not have, if they could not sell those dogs, they would spay their dog. They would think twice about doing that again because it is costly to deal with the puppies in the way that you have to do. It's time consuming. And, don't get it twisted. They are making money off of that. And that is just like a little backyard operation. And you're not saving that dog. I mean, you may be saving that individual dog if you want to think about it like that. But the bigger implications are those dogs end up in shelters. That dog may have however many more litters. They aren't professional breeders, so they don't know what they're doing. And they probably haven't been vetted the way that they're supposed to. So
Right. Well, I'd like to segue now to the issue of overpopulation. What are your thoughts on what's needed to change the grim reality of an estimated 5,500 or more adoptable dogs being euthanized daily in the U.S.?
So the biggest thing obviously is going to be spay and neuter. Like people do not spay and neuter their pets in many parts of the country, whether that's for cultural reasons or they don't have the financial resources or they just don't care. One female unspayed dog, I think, can create hundreds and hundreds of puppies over the course of a lifetime. And for people who don't understand or see that, just look at the shelters and look at the litters of puppies that are being dropped off there, or, that's the biggest thing. I think personally, what I'd like to see at a bigger level, like policy wise, I think that people who breed dogs should have to like pay a registration license or something like on a federal level, like, you know, that way that we know that they're good breeders, that, you know, are checking for genetic disorders or checking for behavioral issues. So there could be registered breeders of certain breeds of dogs, because I understand people are always going to want certain breeds of dogs, but the way that it's happening now in our country, it's just that dogs are commodities being sold on the internet to the highest bidder. And so I think heavy fines for people that don't spay and neuter their pets. I know that might not sound feasible, but I think it can happen. I think it needs to happen at some point in the future. I'd love to be a part of that kind of work towards that policy change. We'll see where we are in 5 years.
Yes. Well, thank you for recommending HBO's documentary, One Nation Under Dog, to me, because that really helps understand why such systemic change is needed in our shelter system. And portions of that documentary are really gritty, really hard to watch, but we can't improve a broken system until we deal with the current reality and the facts head on. And I also highly recommend for listeners an actofdog.org. Artist Mark Barone and his wife Marina are putting their heart and soul into advocating for change in the shelter system, just like Jenny and her husband Jonathan. And PBS has just released a 28-minute documentary of Mark's 4-year, 7-day-a-week passion project to paint individual portraits of 5,500 shelter dogs who were euthanized. He chose that number to represent how many we kill each day. And listeners can watch that documentary for free on an actofdog.org's homepage. So please check that out and look at their work to create a museum of compassion, is what they're terming it, as they work to use art to inspire social change. Jenny, what are your thoughts on responsible dog ownership? We've talked about spay and neuter and any other issues with the for-profit breeding system. Have we covered that, or anything else coming to mind?
I would just say, if you're going to buy a dog from a breeder, please go physically to that location, meet the parents of the dog, and, you know, see how the parents are living. That's the number one piece of advice that I can give for people who are like, I want a whatever, golden doodle, you know, whatever it is, just meet the parents. That's all I can ask. And then in terms of responsible dog ownership, you know, for any dog that you have, you know, I think it's really important for people to understand that dogs, I mean, as much as we love, okay, dogs are like your children. I love Seattle. I love adopting people in Seattle because people do treat their dogs like their children, but also dogs are dogs, and they need leadership, and they need people that understand them. And if you're struggling with your dog, if your dog is having challenges, you know, behaviorally or separation anxiety or whatever it is, get help, because there are professionals out there who can help you. And it's so hard when you just pass that off to somebody else. You know, I need to rehome my dog because my dog is destroying this, that, or the other thing, or my dog, you know, acts like it wants to kill other dogs. Like, no, you can get help. Like these issues can be worked through. It's not just something to give up on. And
Absolutely.
if you don't have the answers, seek out professional help.
Absolutely. We're going to take our final break in a moment, but first let's share our contact information. Is the best way for listeners to reach you at your website, dogonseattle.org?
Yeah, that would be great.
Absolutely. Perfect. And I can be reached at wendyrosewilliams.com regarding past life regression and energy healing, as I'm a certified spiritual teacher, in addition to being a past life regressionist and a Reiki Master energy healer.
Yeah, this is a story of famous dog. When the dog that chases its tail will be busy. These are trapping dogs.
The Knowledge Book, currently studied in 39 countries and 15 languages around the world, accelerates our evolution, takes us out of depression, offers universal truth, protects us, and makes us stronger, both spiritually and physically. So if you are interested in the Knowledge Book, visit usa.theknowledgebook.net and tune in to the Knowledge Book Radio with Marge Potasic on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Winning at the game of money. Lynn Brown is now offering Full Spectrum Finance, a progressive 12-month program that will help you to navigate through the mechanics of financial expansion. Finally, a financial planner who looks at the full spectrum of money and abundance. Engage you in the mental, physical, and energetic aspects of finance. This is Full Spectrum Finance. Are you ready to get into it? For more information, go to fullspectrumfinance.com.
Transformation Talk Radio is dedicated to the education and awareness of Lyme disease.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Lyme Talk Radio. I'm Dr. Pat, joined here by
Dr. Nusheen Darvish.
Dr. Pat Basili and Dr. Nusheen Darvish will be bringing the most innovative, groundbreaking information, research, treatment innovations, and stories from those it affects every day.
I'm so excited to be talking about this.
We have so much to share.
Dr. Darvish and I are planning to do is connect the dots.
People suffering with all sorts of chronic diseases, it's time. It is time for them to transform.
Tune into Lyme Talk Radio and help keep our mission strong.
For the loyal listeners out there that have been listening to this incredible show on Lyme disease, we are not going to let you down. We're going to come through stronger and enrich the platform for Lyme disease awareness through Lyme Talk Radio. The message will continue, the conversations will become stronger, and the healing epic.
Chances are you've been on your conscious journey for many years, and you've learned a lot about manifesting a wonderful life. But if you are like many others on their spiritual paths, you may still have some area of your life where you're feeling stuck. Perhaps you've read many books, attended lots of workshops, listened to many programs, and done plenty of inner work, and yet there is still something you'd like to change. With all the information out there, it may be hard to see the forest for the trees. Do you want to get a bird's eye view of that forest so you are empowered to navigate more effectively? Do you want to know the key to positive change and develop a personalized strategy for creating the changes you desire? Please join me, Christine Upchurch, for a 4-week webinar series beginning January 9th. Start your new year right and embrace the vibration of change. For more information, visit ChristineUpchurch.com. That's ChristineUpchurch.com or call 425-999-9836.
Welcome back to Soul Wisdom Radio, Living Your Joyful Life, with my special guest, Jenny Nordine, founder of the DogOnSeattle.org, no-kill, foster-based dog rescue. I can be reached via my website at wendyrosewilliams.com regarding healing and releasing past life energy to live the fulfilling, joyful life you're meant to love. So, Jenny, what are some of the ways listeners can get involved with Dog on Seattle? How can Seattleites foster, adopt, or volunteer with you?
If you're looking to adopt a dog, we have about 50 dogs in our rescue at any given time, and we're really good at matching dogs with families. If you need a dog that's good with cats or kids or whatever, we can help find that dog for you. If you have any interest at all in helping a shelter dog, the best way to do that is by fostering. We cover all veterinary care. We can provide supplies as well. You basically provide a safe landing spot for the dog to decompress from the shelter environment and then provide updates on the dog's personality and temperament. And we screen potential adopters, and we work together to find the dog a home. The average length in foster time is about 3 weeks. For puppies, it's a little bit less, more like 2 weeks. And then for certain breeds of dogs or older dogs, it may be a little bit longer, like 4 to 6 weeks. And then finally, if you're not interested in adopting and you can't foster, you can always volunteer. We need people to help with transport. We need people to help with event planning and administrative tasks. And then, of course, donations are always appreciated as well. And you can find out all about all these opportunities on our website.
Fantastic. And on the note of donations, how can our generous listeners donate to you by going to the website? And can you speak to what % of donations go directly to help save and care for more death row dogs?
Sure. Yes. You can donate on our website or via PayPal. I believe the PayPal address is paypal.me/DogOnSeattle. Our rescue is entirely volunteer based, so all of the donations that we get go directly to helping, the dogs in one shape or form or another, whether that's transport costs to get them, out of the shelter to here, or for spays and neuters, or for vaccinations, or for some of the special needs dogs that we have. And actually, because we're just about to do our first year's tax report, which is going to be fun. I'm really not really excited about that. But all of our financial expenditures and everything will be completely transparent and available to the public at the end of the year.
Fantastic. So, and it's wonderful to find somewhere where 100% really is going directly to the dogs. So that's wonderful. How would you recommend listeners choose a reputable dog rescue to work with in their local area? Because we have listeners all over the U.S. and Australia and other places in the world. So if they're not able to work with you locally, just how would you recommend they choose a dog rescue to work with?
That's a good question. I think that the most important thing is if you're looking at the dogs, you should be able to get information about where that dog came from, how it got to where it is, what veterinary care it's had, and hey, tell me about this dog's personality. What do you know about it? If a rescue is just flipping dogs, they're not going to know very much about the dog, or you're going to get kind of answers all over the place. So you can just have those conversations. Don't get drawn in and kind of tunnel vision over a dog's picture and obsessed over one dog, and that's the right dog. Make sure you're working with a rescue that's good, because that means that, 2 weeks down the road, if the dog comes down with something, or 3 months down the road, if the dog has a behavioral issue or whatever, that the rescue is going to be there to support you. And by that same token, I'd say any rescue that you work with should have a policy of, hey, if this doesn't work out, we're taking the dog back, because that's really what rescue is a commitment to the dog from rescue through to adoption for the lifetime of that dog. That dog should be safe. So I think that's a really important thing to look for as well.
That is a critical point. Thanks for bringing that up. What else would you like listeners to know so that they can help more shelter dogs find loving, suitable homes? Is there anything else coming to mind?
It's a hard thing for a lot of people. I think a lot of people have the compassion for animals. They feel awful about this problem, but it doesn't make us feel good to sit in that space to look at those dogs' pictures, or to watch those videos, or to go down to the shelter. A lot of people say that they can't help because it would be too hard for them. I hear all the time, "Oh, I would love to foster, but I can't because I would just keep them all." And I get that. I understand. I lived in that space for years. Mm-hmm. But I would also say that, if you just put yourself out there just a little bit, you might surprise yourself at what it feels like on the other end. Try fostering a dog and work through that process and see that dog go to a home. And it may not be as difficult as you think. There's a lot of support available, from other people that have been there, done that. And I think it's kind of like a cop out to just be like, "Oh no, I can't. It's too hard." Like, yes, it's hard, and it's also really rewarding, and it's also really necessary. So if there's any part of your being that feels that, follow that.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I love about volunteering with Doggone Seattle myself is that you're so flexible, meaning I can come volunteer at an adoption event, but I don't have to go to every adoption event. It's just, when schedules permit. And it's just so great to be there with that dog one-on-one, because none of them are in crates. You've just got a great setup where the dogs can be safe and can meet different families, and families can come in and see a bunch of dogs all at the same time. And same thing, we can also go help the few dogs that you do have that are in boarding. We can go work with them and do some dog walking and socializing and that sort of thing. So that's just been a great avenue for me. And it's something that I enjoy doing with my daughters, too, who are in college and when they're available. So it can be a family volunteer project, too.
We love having your support. It's always awesome to have people who, come and stay around and get to know everyone. And we have a really great team of people, too. So a lot of people have a lot of fun with it, which I hope everybody has a lot of fun with it.
Absolutely. And you're also unique because you've got the pups and peeps. So you've got the monthly or bi-monthly, whenever there's a social, and people can just go and enjoy being there with their dog and with other dog savvy people and get some ideas and just enjoy being out and about. So there's where your original Doggone Seattle, the community,
it all ties together.
It all ties together, exactly. Well, last question. What experiences have touched your heart the most in working with the dogs? What have they taught you, and how have they changed you?
Well, that's a big question. Every dog I believe every dog kind of teaches you something different. And I mean, I think the biggest thing that I've learned is patience, and it kind of ties into the respect piece, is that every dog needs something different. So you've got to approach each dog with patience. And I can get frustrated, and I can be an impatient person, and I feel like the dogs kind of allows me to step back and say, okay, goose fraba a little bit here. There's like explosive diarrhea and everything. The couch is ruined and blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, everything's going to be okay. I'm just going to deal with each problem as it comes to you. So I think patience and just like a sense of humor as well.
Absolutely. Well, on that note, we're going to end. And this is Wendy Rose Williams from Soul Wisdom Radio with Jenny Nordine from dogonseattle.org. Thank you so much, Jenny, for being here today. Thank you to Benny, and thank you to Jessica for creating the Facebook Live.
Thanks, Wendy.
You've been listening to Soul Wisdom Radio with Wendy Rose Williams. Tune in each month on Transformation Talk Radio to raise your vibration and live a joyful life. Wendy reviews crucial energy basics in fresh new ways from her perspective as a past life regressionist, Reiki Master energy healer, and spiritual teacher, including how to ground, clear, and balance your energy to be sovereign. Tune into your soul's infinite wisdom, raise your vibration, and discover your greatest joy on Soul Wisdom Radio. Visit wendyrosewilliams.com to download this podcast, to learn more about having a healing session with Wendy, or to order one of her publications.